Right, let's bring the conversation back to South Africa now. The Inter-ministerial Committee looking into issues in the Northwest set to brief the media on its engagement in just a short while. We understand Samkele Maseko is our reporter on that story. Samkele, of course, the province being rocked by a number of protests. In fact, a number of protests in the health sector taking place just today. Some of what the demands entail include the removal of Premier Supra Mahumapelo. How does he form part of this inter-ministerial task team and those discussions that are taking place?
Well, Michelle, the president certainly does look like a very busy man. You'd remember that he had to cut his trip short when he was in the United Kingdom to come back and attend to protests that had erupted here in Gauteng, calling for the resignation of Premier Supra Mahumapelo, who has now taken a leave of absence. So he comes into this IMC as the head of government, who was accounting for all the contracts and the tenders that government had issued out and taking accountability for all the wrongdoing that had been taking place in departments such as the Department of Health. That you'd remember, Michelle, that last week when he addressed that eNCA meeting, where his supporters tried to barge that meeting, he told them that it's rather interesting that the MEC of Health in the province is not the one who is asked to resign, but he is the one who is asked to resign as the Premier of the province, basically shipping the blame of the collapse or the crisis that the Department of Health finds itself under to the MEC of Health. You'd remember that Supra Mahumapelo had made representations and reports to this IMC chaired by Dr. Dlamini Zuma as the convener. So that was his role as the Premier of the province. Well, he's taken a leave of absence with Wendy Nelson now taking over as the acting Premier of the province.
Samkele, so we're told that this Inter-ministerial Committee will brief the media on those engagements. When will we see that briefing taking place?
Well, Michelle, that briefing is supposed to be at 2:30 this afternoon, where Dr. Dlamini Zuma, the minister in the presidency and the convener of the Inter-ministerial Committee, will brief the media on the recommendations that she made to President Cyril Ramaphosa at last week's cabinet meeting on the future of governance of this province. You'd remember that also 12 local municipalities have also been placed under administration in the guidance of COGTA Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize. So out of 18 municipalities, 12 of them are now in the hands of COGTA, which basically means that the entire provincial government, along with MEC portfolios or various portfolios and the office of the Premier, the entire province has been placed on Section 100. You remember that the DG of Treasury did say that wasteful and fruitless expenditure in the province in the past 2 years has risen from 2 billion rands to 14 billion rands, which may have also been a factor that Dr. Dlamini Zuma, in conjunction with the DG of Treasury and the Deputy Minister of Finance, Mondli Gungubele, recommended that the entire province must be placed under administration. So Dr. Dlamini Zuma will be looking into those issues of basically the collapse of governance in this province.